Hello, I'm Bill Bullard with RCAF USA, the voice of the independent cattle producer in the United States of America. Well, the Meatpacking Lobby understood a long time ago that if they were going to achieve their goal of dominating the cattle market, then they needed to be able to influence public policies in Washington, D.C. to ensure that no regulatory hurdles stood in their way. They understood that to achieve their desired level of influence, they had to gain power through membership organizations, and so they did. They organized both nationally and regionally. And for a long time, they had three national organizations: the North American Meat Association, the American Meat Institute, and the American Association of Meat Processors. And they had regional organizations, like the Southwest Meat Association. And then in the mid-90s, the packers merged with the Cattle Producers Organization, the National Cattlemen's Association, or NCA, to become the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, or NCBA. Then, under the leadership of former U.S. Department of Agriculture, or USDA official Barry Carpenter, the two largest meat organizations merged to become the North American Meat Institute, and Mr. Carpenter became its CEO. These actions further strengthened the beef-packing lobby's powerful influence over public policies. And you might recall that all of these beef lobby groups joined together in a lawsuit in federal court against our U.S. mandatory country of origin labeling law back in 2013. And then in 2015, when their lawsuit wasn't successful, Barry Carpenter, the former USDA official turned CEO of the Meatpacking Lobby, testified before Congress successfully urging the repeal of mandatory country of origin labeling for beef. Now that's real power, and that's real influence. And the Meatpacking Lobby has succeeded in ensuring that no regulatory hurdles would stand in their way of dominating the U.S. cattle industry. So here we are. The cattle industry has remained in a state of status quo for decades. No mandatory country of origin labeling, no requirement that packers maintain the integrity of the industry's negotiated cash market, its most important price discovery market, no meaningful enforcement of the Packers and Stockyards Act, no limits on more mergers and more consolidation, and no restrictions on the packers' ability to own and control livestock. So today's cattle industry functions the way the powerful and influential beef packing lobby wanted to function, and they're fighting to keep it functioning this way. So what does this way look like? Well, the bottom fell out of your cattle market in 2015. The negotiated cash market has shrunk beyond recognition. Importers are increasing the imports into the U.S., and cattle producers cannot compete against them because consumers can't tell the difference between beef produced from U.S. cattle versus beef from foreign cattle. And since 2017, both wholesale and retail beef prices have been trending skyward, while cattle prices paid to U.S. cattle producers have been trending downward, reaching new lows not seen in over a decade. And this is the new normal, and it will remain the permanent normal unless you act, and act right now. Already, the meatpacking lobby is attempting to deflect attention away from the lost competition in your industry. They're saying the problem isn't the market. The problem is a lack of slaughter capacity. And they're pointing to the August 2019 Tyson fire and saying, see, we hit the capacity limit when a 5,000 per head day plant went offline. But that's false. According to the USDA, the packing industry slaughtered 5,000 more head of cattle in the 3 weeks after the fire than it did during the 3 weeks prior to the fire, which means that even when the capacity was cut by 5,000 head, the industry was still able to increase cattle slaughter. This means the problem is right where we said it was, in the market itself. And unless we fix that, nothing will happen. So what do each and every one of you need to do? And it's actually pretty simple. Each and every cattle producer needs to decide which organization they want to make powerful enough and influential enough to overpower the meatpacking lobby's status quo wall. And the power to do this is in your hands. You can make the organization of your choice that powerful and that influential. And you can do it by becoming a member of that organization. For example, RCAF USA has about 5,500 members. If we had 25,000 members, our power and influence in Washington, D.C. would be considerable. We'd not only be the largest producer-only cattle association in the U.S. as we are now, but we'd be the largest national cattle association. With that many members and the influence it creates, we could implement the reforms needed to change the current direction of your industry. So it really is up to you. And you can amass the needed power and influence right now with your membership. So the question to you is, whose horse are you going to throw your saddle on? Please go to our website at r-cafusa.com to join with us so we can change the course of your industry. With that, thank you and have a productive week. Goodbye.